Welcome to the webinar on how to become a community expert in your neighborhoods. Today we'll be joined by Rob Levy, who's a top-selling Portland agent, and he's here to share all of his secrets and tips on how he became the community expert in his neighborhood. So now I'll pass the webinar over to Rob, where he'll just give you some quick insight into his history as a realtor.
All right. So, a couple of things. First off, I am a realtor. I've been a realtor for a long time, 27 years. I'm a self-proclaimed nerd with a real estate license. I'm not the sharpest tack in the book. Matter of fact, I didn't even finish high school, but I've worked very hard at being a realtor, and I've been one of the top realtors in my marketplace for a very long time. I have a wonderful team that helps me, and it makes it a lot easier. I have my experience. I was 24 years with Prudential Real Estate, and I was the #1 realtor with Prudential in the Portland metro area from 2007 to 2011. And yes, I mentioned I'm a nerd. I was actually the first E-certified realtor in the entire Prudential system. E1, they used to kind of joke and call me. And 26 plus, I guess that means 27 years as a top-selling realtor in Portland, as I mentioned, with my team. And yeah, I've had a single agent. I've been as big as a 12-person team, and now we use technology, and we have 4 people on our team, and it works very well for us. So that's just a little bit about me, and the point that I really wanted to get across is that, you know, I'm just like you guys. I'm a realtor that does this all day, every day, and face the same challenges that you guys face. Couple of things. This is I got this from a good friend of mine named Howard Brinton with Starcard Systems. Unfortunately, he's since passed away, but ran a great system listening to top agents talking about what they're doing, which, by the way, I mentioned I didn't finish high school. That was my university, so to speak, learning what other agents just like me and you were doing all day long. And he said something big. He said, you know, what's the difference between the pig and the chicken when it comes to breakfast? And that's supposed to be a chicken dropping eggs, so let's do that for me. So I want to confirm that is eggs, by the way.
Yes, it is.
And the chicken is a participant, but the pig is committed. So the thing about this business is we've got some great opportunities right now. For those of us that have been doing this for some time, we all know we went through some very rough years. An adage I once heard is when a storm comes, you learn how to dance in the rain. And a lot of us learned how to dance in the rain pretty good. So the difference is, you know, now there's some great opportunities right now in real estate and going forward, and this is a great time to be really committed to this business. And while I condone anybody doing anything, you can be a realtor selling 2 houses a year or 2,000 homes a year. It doesn't make that much difference. The reality is you just need to be committed to what you're doing. And I think a lot of people here are. We've got a whole bunch of you watching this right now, and that's why you're here. So a couple of things we're going to be talking about today. First off is the community expert, and there's really basically 4 steps to making this happen. The first one is creating videos, and I want to elaborate on this a little bit, and again, I'm going to apologize as Celeste already did if we end up going longer. But this is really important because I've done a ton of experimenting with this stuff, and video is becoming a big, big deal. As a matter of fact, I just read a report recently on Facebook, and you've probably all seen this, where you pull out your iPhone and start you know, looking at Facebook, and the videos start automatically. So video advertising is going to become a huge deal. And I've just gotten set up, as a matter of fact, there's 5 of us top agents around the country that are going to be meeting in Las Vegas in a few weeks and really trying to figure out how to really capitalize on that because it's huge. But there are a couple of big things about video. First off, hey guys, no full-length movies here, okay? So there's 2 types of videos that you're making. I live in Portland, Oregon, which is the #1 go-to state right now in the country. That more people are moving here percentage-wise than anywhere else. So if somebody's moving here, say from California or even Seattle, up I-5 a few hours, the reality is I want to educate them on Portland, and that's what community videos are for. So in #1 on the left, what you're seeing is actually a picture of one of my favorite pizza places, but it's actually part of a community video, and I'll show you an example in a minute. The other, and those are almost like little travelogues, so to speak. So those are going to be about 3.5 minutes long. Don't make them 5 minutes, they won't watch it. Don't make it a minute and a half because you can't get enough people in there. And by the way, guys, I've tested this over and over and over. The second type of video that we're not going to talk about much at all today, but keep this in mind for a future webinar, is emails that go out with videos in them rather than just drip regular emails, drip video emails. And those, should you experiment with those, we've found work best if they're between 50 minutes, 50 seconds, and about an hour and 1 minute and 20 seconds maximum. Concentrate, Rob. So between 50 seconds and 1 minute and 20 seconds maximum, with the optimum time being about 1 minute and 5 seconds long. So again, keep that in mind when you're making the videos. What's not in here, I realized just as we did a quick run through before you guys came on board, was how to do the videos, and there's all sorts of ways of doing that. iPhone 5, 6 is a fantastic way of doing it, and until recently there hasn't been an option for a remote mic, and that's been the big problem for doing videos on iPhones. But you can now buy remote mics for about 50 bucks. I've used little 1080p cameras that you can buy on eBay for practically nothing. I've got a Kodak. They went out of business a few years ago making video cameras, but that's fantastic. And I've got a little wired mic that I bought that's 25 feet long, actually, and I bought it from Radio Shack for, I think, $20, $19, and I've got a selfie stick. So I can do all sorts of stuff with videos very, very easily. And so again, you don't need to spend a ton of money doing this. As far as software to create it, if you've got an Apple, you've got iMovie built in. If you've got a Windows machine, you've got Windows Live Movie Maker built in. You don't need to be spending the big bucks doing this stuff. It's all built in and it works great. So keeping that in mind, that's on the video portion. So we're also going to be talking about creating community pages. Community pages are specific pages with specific keywords on your site, and we're going to explain in detail how this works, that educate people on communities. So for instance, in Portland, there's 5 quadrants: north, northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest. So let's say Portland is a book on Portland, and there's 5 chapters on the 5 areas I just mentioned. Well, within those chapters, there's sub-chapters and so on. So for instance, in southwest Portland, there's, I don't know, 15, 20 different neighborhoods. So we're creating community pages where we've got the quadrants, and then within the quadrants, let's say southeast Portland, I'll show you an example, multiple pages within there. What happens is Google starts to think of you as a community expert, and I'll show you proof on that, especially if you use their materials. So in other words, I've got a page within roblevy.com that says on Southeast Portland real estate, and within that page I've got the video on Southeast Portland and predetermined home searches, information, links out to other pages, and so on. So if you're searching from Miami, Florida, looking for homes in Southeast Portland, Oregon, all of a sudden Google says, whoa, this guy knows what he's talking about. He is a community expert, and it moves it up to the top of the list. And I'm going to show you some proof of that in a minute. So you've got neighborhoods, let's say Southeast Portland in this case, but you can also create polygon maps using IDX search within RealPro systems. You can create polygon maps within those specific neighborhoods. So in other words, a neighborhood in Southeast Portland might be Sellwood. Well, if you click on the Sellwood polygon map, I'm showing all the houses that fall into that particular neighborhood. So I've educated the buyer on the neighborhood, and now I'm educating them on the houses live on what's available in that neighborhood right now. And last but not least, and very important, we're going to talk about Facebook ads. And right now we're doing still ads, and like I said, we're starting to break into the video ads. But we're going to talk about how those work, what to do and what not to do, and how to create the information, when to do them, and so on. And as Celeste said, at the end we'll be open to questions, and I'm happy to answer as many as you guys like. So creating the videos, there's several rules to create. First off, videos are the key element of your narrative as a community expert. And one of the reasons they're key is because they go on YouTube, and of course, who owns YouTube? Google. So when people do Google searches, you're going to get higher ranking by having videos on YouTube, which is owned by Google, playing on your site. So let's take a look, for instance, on my YouTube channel. I've got 2 different channels, one for my internal videos and one for my video tours. This is one. I don't really promote this channel. These are all the community videos that I have. So for instance, Northeast Portland, Northwest Portland, Portland West and West Hills, and so on. Okay, so wanted to show you those, and okay, almost lost my page there, I panicked. And we go back to the second thing is keeping your videos for communities at 2 to 3 minutes. So let's click on this one, and we'll see an example. So I'm not going to play you the whole 3 minutes, but I want to give you the gist of it.
We offer a wonderful way to visit and experience the feel of the neighborhood that you may soon call your own. The Sellwood Moreland neighborhoods have a small town feel with quaint shops and food carts.
So guys, again, you can see the length of this is at 2 minutes and 23 seconds. I'm going to scroll forward here.
A private, independent liberal arts college.
So it talks about Sellwood Moreland, which is in southeast Portland. Shows some houses. We've shown the Speed University in that one. So we've shown that as well. And there was the beginning, you saw that, and there was the ending. And the ending is making me the expert again.
For more information and to watch other neighborhood tours, visit roblevy.com.
Okay, so going back to our page there, what you saw was a video just on one community that sits on the Southeast Portland page. Actually, it might be the Selwood page as well. But again, keep those ones at 2 to 3 minutes like we talked about, and those are travelogues. Think of them as a travelogue. I'm just trying to educate people that are new to the area on what's going on in Portland. Okay? So number 3, use your tablets or smartphones to create videos. We talked about that already. Personally, I'm going to go towards the smartphone just because the clarity is so much better than the tablets at this point in time. And so what we've done is we've got a community video, let's say, on Southeast Portland, and then we've got sub-pages within those neighborhoods, Selwood, Moreland, Eastmoreland, neighborhoods like that. What we then do is create sub-pages for each of those neighborhoods and simply stand on a street corner with the iPhone and just take a video for 20 seconds. And I'm just showing like community stores in Selwood, as a for instance, and put that on the Selwood page. So really easy to do. Again, as I mentioned before, getting a camera off of eBay for 20 bucks, that's a 1080p with an external mic plug. Keywords there, external mic plug. That way you can interview people as well. As far as using a tripod, that is also an option. If you Google the words, oh boy, poor boys tripod, I think it is. It'll show there's a kit you can buy for 20 bucks that you can. It actually creates it puts a weight on the bottom of the camera and makes your camera stable. But I will say, having recently upgraded to an iPhone 6, it's got a stability feature inside that pretty much eliminates a lot of the other stuff. As far as doing this sort of stuff, back when I started doing this several years ago, what we did is I hired kids from high school. So I called the local high school and talked to the computer science department and hired a kid who came over and did these. And it took them about an hour for each one. So if you think about it, I'm doing an introduction and ending, and particularly for the videos, the educational videos that go out in drip emails, for instance, learning about reading the sales contract in Oregon. I've got the introduction, I've got pictures of the sales contract, I've got the audio overlay, me explaining the sales contract, and then a call to action. You know, thanks again for letting us help you find your home in Portland, Oregon. And I'm not a Mac guy. We use a Windows, and again, we use Windows Live Movie Maker, and it works just fine for throwing them all together. Takes my high school kid about an hour, and the video is done, and it's good forever. One thing I will say, as I mentioned at the beginning, I said I was with Prudential for 24 years and then ended up leaving. I had to redo all of my videos, so try not to be company specific in your videos. Might be a little bit of help. And I'd actually thrown away all of the content and had to create it all from scratch again. Excuse me. Sorry about that. All right, sugar water, I'm better. So uploading a video to YouTube and adding a description, contact information, and meta tags for added SEO value. So when you put it onto YouTube, you want to put some meta tags and information on there. And this one is actually Celeste talking about doing it. And this is a video, I think it's about 8 minutes long, if I can read that. This is what RealPro provides for you, where Celeste will walk you through how to put them onto YouTube, how to add the description, the contact info, the meta tags, and so on. So you're going to get SEO value. Of course, I'm sure pretty much everybody knows SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. And again, the key here is to make Google happy, not to make your buyers happy, to make Google happy. And most importantly, embed those videos on your website. And this is important, and I'm going to click here and show you this. So what we're looking at is a page on Southwest Portland, Oregon real estate. And this one's going to take me a few minutes to explain this, so bear with me. This is a page within roblevy.com, and it's actually roblevy.com, and I believe the exact verbiage is southwest-portland-oregon-real-estate. But what's on this page is all sorts of information you can see here over on the left on Portland, links to everything from the Portland Timbers MLS team to different neighborhoods like Multnomah Village and Hillsdale and so on. 2 videos are embedded in my page. Why is that important? Because when I click on those, they're going to play on my page and they're not going to take you back to YouTube. What a lot of people do is they click here to see a video on Southwest Portland. And when you click on it, it goes to YouTube. Well, when they're at YouTube, they're seeing all these other videos from competitors, and you know, YouTube's gotten pretty good at finding similar videos and posting that sort of stuff. I don't want them seeing my competitors. I want them with the Rob Levy logo, Rob Levy team logo at the top, and so on. The second thing is immediately below those, you're seeing what's called predefined searches. So I know it's hard to see on the screen. We had a little bit of trouble with me running this remotely, so we're on a shrunk up screen. So for those of you that can't see it, what it says under that top video is homes under 200,000, 200 to 250, 250 to 350, 350 to 400, and so on. 350 to 400. 350 to 400, and so on. 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 350 to 400, and so on what those are literally links to searches from the RealPro IDX page to homes that meet those parameters. Now, you can do a million different things than I have on other pages. I've got homes with a view, homes that are master on the main, homes that are on the river. I mean, there's all sorts of links that you can create on different pages. But the important part about this is looking at the big picture from Google's point of view. So this particular page, it's titled Southwest Portland, Oregon Real Estate. It's tons of information on that. It's got 2 videos on Southwest Portland. It's got predefined search pages for homes in Southwest Portland, which Google thinks are all individual pages. I correct myself, 3 videos now, because I put the Pearl District on there. So again, that makes me very important in Google's mind. So I'm going to go back to my presentation thing here and click on Next. So what we've got is when you've got a catalog of these short videos, you give yourself the ability to promote your brand and services to the community in a more engaging and entertaining advertising medium. And again, we looked at our YouTube channel here of the individual videos, which I prefer to play on my page. Okay, and that's a picture of it right there. So the next step is creating these community pages that we talked about. Number 1, the 6 rules. Number 1, look at the community you serve as subdivisions and niche neighborhoods. So this is a page that I believe goes to my general one. So these are the neighborhoods that I don't work. I don't particularly work in this part of town over here on the right, for instance. So all of this is an interactive page, and each one has got its own set of videos and its own information and so on. So for instance, Southwest Portland is what we just looked at there. I could click on Southeast Portland, and there's a video of Southeast Portland, all sorts of information on it, the predefined searches and so on. Okay, so that's the number 1 thing, is look at the communities you serve and create them as subdivisions. And again, you can go extra deep, extra deep, extra deep, all the way down. I know of an agent back in North Carolina that basically has gone to every subdivision in every sub-community of every sub-community of every sub-community, taken videos, created predefined searches, and she's like, whenever you search that city, she's always number 1, and it didn't cost her anything. So divide those communities and create a page on your website for each community. Emphasize with home buyers and start writing down keywords you'd search for online. And take those keywords and use them often when you're writing content for that page. So if you're writing information about it, use those keywords. And again, Celeste explains all that stuff in the videos. And of course, they're always open to calls to RealPro about that too. Create outbound links to places you mentioned on that community page. So I mentioned I even have one on there to the Portland Timbers because they happen to play in Southwest Portland. I happen to be a soccer fanatic. Contact that business or organization and inquire if they'll place an outbound link on your site. So this is working with businesses. So basically I could go to an art gallery, for instance, and say, hey, I'll promote your page on my site if you'll do that on your site. That works really well, but don't do that with other RealPro people. Don't get carried away with this and call other agents around the country, because that'll actually hurt you more than help you. Google's got ways of figuring that stuff out. Upload the video to YouTube and add a description and meta tags. We talked about that earlier. And most importantly, embed those videos onto your YouTube page. So created community pages. So just proof of the pudding here, guys. Is searching for Southeast Portland real estate. That's all I typed in. Keep in mind I didn't pay anything to create this page. Keep in mind there's about 9,000 realtors in Portland. Keep in mind there's several Portlands in the country, including another city of 1 million+ people in Maine, Portland, Maine. When you type in Southwest Portland real estate, Southeast, excuse me, in this case, I'm on the 3rd page, like four people down the 3rd page. That's a big deal. I didn't spend any money to create that stuff. This is what's called organic SEO, meaning content is what's driving you to so far up. So times that by all the different neighborhoods, like if you typed in Selwood real estate or whatever. So my point there is just proving that this stuff works. So polygon map searches, that's the next big thing. So what you're looking at here on the left is a predefined map search within an IDX on RealPro to display on your community pages. So again, I forget which neighborhood this is from looking at it, but if you actually, you just draw a line. So in Portland's case, Portland is a city of about 2.3 million people, including the metro area, but the city of Portland itself is smaller, and they have 158 specific neighborhoods. So all you do is download the neighborhood maps, and I'm sure most of your local cities have them too, and you just grab the mouse and draw it on the lines on the map and save it, and you've got a predefined map search for that area. And what it shows, and I'll show you an example. Oh, this explains how RealPro explains how to do it. But what it does is it shows all of the houses that are in that particular neighborhood. The second one is creating these maps is simple, using RealPro IDX PT. So this is another one that explains it's a recorded webinar, I can't see how many minutes it is, that explains exactly how to do it, how to draw the lines, what to do, and so on. Okay? So the third one is place that predefined map search on your community website page. And I believe this one is an example of one of mine. So you're looking at live a predefined search that I did. This is actually homes, I think, in southeast Portland, yeah. So this isn't an immediate neighborhood. This is homes, a predefined search for homes between $250,000 and $325,000 in southeast Portland. And these are all the homes that are for sale, okay, starting from highest to lowest. Good luck buying any of them. Anything in that price range in that neighborhood is going to sell with anywhere between 30 and 40 offers in our market right now. It's absolutely crazy. But again, there's a million ways you can do this. Homes on the river, homes with a view of the river, homes with a view of the freeway. Whatever your IDX puts out, you can create predefined searches for. And we're going to elaborate on that quite some when we talk about Facebook advertising as well. Thanks, Kathy. Okay. So we're up to date on this page. Let's go to the next page. So creating polygon map searches. And this is the one where you can actually create a polygon map. And by the way, these show up on iPhones and Androids. There's actually a video that explains all of that, and I'm not going to go through it, but you can access that through RealPro. And I'll click on a link to showing it in action in a second here. But one of the things I did want to stress that RealPro offers, which is absolutely fantastic, and let me elaborate a little bit. NAR, National Association of Realtors, which also stands for Not Always Right, along with Trulia, Zillow, and several other sites, have apps that people can download. I work for Keller Williams. They have apps that people can download. Pretty much everybody's got them. Here's the problem. If you go download, say, Zillow's app, or your buyers, I should say, download Zillow's app, Trulia's app, Realtor.com's app, and they click on Find Me, and it shows all the homes around them, great product. It's great products. Problem is, shows all of the houses with the listing agents. The second thing is, people don't necessarily want to download an app all the time, especially if they're out in the field at the time and not on their home Wi-Fi. What RealPro's got that's absolutely fantastic is if anybody goes, as long as you've updated to this part of the program, if anybody goes, for instance, to roblevy.com on a mobile device, it recognizes it's on a mobile device and will show the listings. But you can click on the search button, and it's on, in this picture you can see it says search. It's the top button there, the second one to the right, and then click on Find Me. And if they happen to be in the Portland area, standing in front of a house, it's going to show every listing, just like the NAR app, the Zillow app, the Trulia app, every listing in the IDX right now that's available, and they're all branded to me. Big deal, guys, a really, really big deal. On all of my emails that go out, it says, you know, if you're out kicking around looking at houses, go to roblevy.com at any time in front of any house and find out all of the details. This stuff really works. So this is showing an integrated IDX, and this is talking about, is your website prepared to capture these leads, and this is a video that RealPro puts out about it. Again, there's tons of information you can get from these guys, and I know because I've learned a lot from it. So that pretty much covers the video portion of what we're talking about and the community pages, and I want to talk about a few things about Facebook ads. And some of you are saying, well, what's this got to do with community pages? It's actually got a lot to do with it because you can create communities within Facebook. So there's a couple of things that are very important. Number one, don't build a community page in Facebook. They can and will take them away. So they own those, you don't. You own your business page, you own your personal page. However, the second most important thing is that when you created your personal page, it said, I agree at the bottom, and of course everybody read all of the rules that it comes with. Yeah, right. Well, there's a few things in there that say, for instance, if you start just automatically loading real estate ads from a third-party service, they have the right to turn off your Facebook page and kill all of your followers and everything. I know people this has happened to. They have not been able to get it back. So don't use your personal page for promoting Facebook or advertising. So you need to create a business web page, and here's an example of mine. And I'm going to show you live a few things that we're doing. The specific things that I put in here, for instance, the Rob Levy Team Real Estate Agent is automatic. That's created by Facebook. This picture, I uploaded a team picture to show that I'm a team. The picture of Mount Hood I put on there, and I put this information on there because I found that doing it with kind of a clear see-through, I seem to get more response, and I get more response out of red than I do out of blue, yellow, multiple colors. I'm always messing around and trying to see what works and what doesn't work. Creating custom audiences is called target marketing. So when we fill out forms online, oftentimes we'll fill out a survey, and there's a whole bunch of questions. Are you married? Do you own a house? Do you plan on moving in the next few years? How much money do you make? We all seem to answer a lot of those questions, and there's one giant data aggregator named Epsilon. And as a matter of fact, there's a big article on 60 Minutes about how powerful they are and how much they know about us that buys all of that data or collects all of that data. They sell that data to companies, including Facebook. So you can drill down within Facebook and doing your marketing, and you can drill down ads to people that have been in a house a certain amount of years, that make this much money, that own a house, that rent a house, that live in a specific neighborhood, that like a particular neighborhood. That, I mean, it's just like houses with views. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do where you can drill down. It's called targeted advertising. You need to be very careful when you're creating these ads because you need to choose the results you want to get when you create the ad in the first place. For instance, in Portland, there's the city of Portland, there's Beaverton, Hillsborough, Tigard, Tualatin, Lake Oswego, all of these neighborhoods that I work. When you click on the city of Portland, for instance, which is around a couple million people, it says plus 25 miles. Well, I don't necessarily want the entire city of Portland plus 25 miles if I'm targeting a certain group of people. And by the way, I can target college-educated people, people of certain ages, whatever the case may be. That's a great for instance. There's all sorts of ways you can do that. So choose the results you want when you're creating the ad. Spend the time to look through all of those different options, and there's a million options in there to choose from. Create the message and either push that ad with a video or multiple images, and remember to engage your audience more on a personal level with soft suggestions, and we're going to talk about that in a second. Here's a particular post that I've had good luck with. There we go. So this is a post that I turned into an ad, and I'm actually going to show you the results of this in a second. But before I do, I'm going to go back to my business page and show you what I've been doing. And I'm going to scroll down, so don't make anybody sick here for a minute. But you'll notice that the theme of what I was doing earlier on back here is taking pictures selling my community, like fishing in downtown Portland, eating at different restaurants. Some of them are questions, like do you like to hike in a group or by yourself? Pictures of bike riding, a squished up picture of Rob, I don't know what happened to that one. You know, fishing in downtown Portland, like Chinook salmon fishing. This is a picture that I took. It's actually a picture of one of my listings, and I turned it into an ad. And I'm going to go back over to it here. And watch this, you guys. I took this ad. This is a targeted ad. And I set up rules where certain people got to see it. And in this particular case, I paid $477.91 on this particular run. But look what happened. 318 people clicked on the photo. 188 people clicked on the link. And by the way, if you can't see it, it says it's all about the view here in Portland. Do you need a change of scenery? Start your search. Click here. Well, of course, what did that go to? It goes to a predefined search like we just talked about that has only view homes in Southwest Portland. And so 188 people clicked on that link. 28 people liked my page. Big deal, because now I'm getting all sorts of numbers of people liking my page. But look at all of these comments. I can't quite see. 36 people shared the picture. 582 people liked the page. And for some reason I can't see how many comments there were, but you know, there's multiple comments and all sorts of stuff before there. So again, this stuff really works. And to go back to what I was showing you before, that's one ad. So I've played with all sorts of different things. There's pictures of Multnomah Falls. This was a good one. This is earlier in the year. Summer weekend is coming to the Oregon coast in early March. Are you ready for some fun? 113 people reached. That was without boosting it. People liked it. The Portland Timber is playing. This is one I had fun with, and I turned it into an ad, and I'll show you the results of this one. I had a very good friend of mine who I was showing some houses to who was done with his big house and wanted a master on the main. Well, we went and showed this place, and it's a 3-story townhouse with an incredible view, by the way, for $500,000, what we call a 3-mountain view. Downtown Portland and all 3 mountains, including Mount St. Helens. And yeah, the master's on the main because the main was on the lower level, but you came in on the 3rd level. So that literally was 2 huge flights of stairs. I thought, well, I'll take a picture and have fun with that. It says, are you tired of climbing stairs? Do you need a master on the main floor for your next Beaverton, Tigard area home? Start your search, click here. Well, that was a predefined search for homes in Beaverton and Tigard that had a master on the main. I had boosted the ad and created an ad out of it, and I targeted only people that liked Beaverton or Tigard. And look at the results. 11,532 people were reached, and I spent $100, reached 11,448 people. 254 people took actions. 136 people liked the photo, clicked on the photo. 60 shared the link, and 4 people liked it. So, I'm sorry, 60 people clicked on the link going to the search. So 60 people did that search, which of course they can save the search and register their name and so on. And 136 people liked the photo. So this stuff really works. And then publish your ad and of course track its performance. Some of the stuff works, some doesn't. So as another for instance, I went away recently and there's a service that I belong to called, oh boy, Keeping Current Matters. And by the way, it's about the best $20 a month you could ever spend. The guy that runs the company used to own a couple of Prudential franchises back east someplace and started this company, and they come out with all sorts of wonderful graphics multiple times a month. And so you're allowed to publish those graphics if you belong to the service. So things like this I've been putting on, and then just kind of, and this one organically reached 259 people. I could have paid to boost it. This one, Oregon is known for our wine industry. Just south of Portland, southwest of Portland, is the Mid-Willamette Valley, about 20 minutes south of town. So I did a thing on wineries. I did a whole series of these actually on wineries. It's a $3 billion industry. It's a very important part of the Oregon economy. Pinot Noir is what we're known for, by the way. Pictures of fishing in downtown Portland, pictures of flowers. There's another one of the Keeping Current Matters one, another one here, another one there. I did that one recently. So again, just showing that you can put up just about anything, but it's got to be stuff that works. Repeat it and refine it. And right now my refining again is trying to figure out how to make the video stuff work. And I've actually already got something that we're in the process of developing, which is a 30-second video, animated video, talking about selling a house. Animated, trying to get people to go to my Real Pro Seller Stealth site. So, created a Facebook ad, and I realized it's 2:35, and I think I've got a couple more pages, and I'm pretty much done here. So Facebook will be your best tool in understanding the messages your audience wants to hear. So use this channel, okay? And we've talked about my business page, so I don't need to go back to that. So your homework. A couple of things that I did. Number one is I ran the big team. I've been a single agent. I ran the small team. Running the big team was particularly difficult. It was a lot of work. I'm at a stage of life where I'm pushing 60, kids are out of home, dogs died, life has begun, bought a smaller house, traveling more, all that sort of stuff. How do I make my life easier? One of the things I did is I doubled my sales price. And that was a sustained effort of marketing to more higher-end homes and higher-end clients. And some of it was the fact that I've been in the business almost 30 years, and a lot of the homes I was selling to people 25, 30 years ago were young families like I was at the time, and now they're selling their houses just like my wife and I just did, and I'm also selling their parents' houses, and they tend to be more expensive homes. But that's a good effort because it's easier deals, it's less work, and it's double the money. But what I really want you to do is take your top 5 ideas that you learned here, whittle it down to 3, because 5 generally won't be implemented, and set a calendar to implement these ideas. I'm a trade show junkie, so I'll go to about 6 or 7 conferences a year, and I sit there and listen, and I come up with a million ideas, and I'm extremely ADD, and if I don't put it down to 3, it doesn't happen. So I'm going to ask you to take 3 of the top things we talked about and make that happen. And what you need to do, though, this is a very important thing that I've found in speaking around the country. Recently, I was speaking to a group of 460 people in Long Beach, California. And I asked people, how many have your own domain name? I don't mean like a page in a chapter in a book, which means if you're with Keller Williams, Remax, Prudential, Century 21, whatever. If you have a page within your office's page, which is within that company's page, your page in the chapter in a book. So roblevy.com, for instance, I am the book. So I said, how many of you have your own domain and have you at your domain, so rob@roblevy.com, for instance, as your email, and your own phone number that you own? And what I'm talking about is being portable, because you never know when things will change. The company I worked with became Prudential and then became Berkshire Hathaway. I don't know that Keller Williams is going anyplace, but I don't necessarily want to tie myself to that name. And the reality was 16 people out of the 450 had that. So one thing I will encourage you to do is make yourself portable. Buy your own domain name, even if it points to your company site. Have your own email. And guys, this stuff is cheap. It's $5 a month through GoDaddy or Google email with your own domain name. You can buy your own domain and point it to your Real Pro site. It's not going to cost you, what, $8, $9, $10, $11 a month, something, a year, I should say, to do that. That's a year to have your own domain name. So a couple of important things that I'd learned there. And are you ready to become the next community expert in your neighborhoods? Again, Real Pro, they've got multiple videos and educational seminars that we talked about and I showed you earlier. So guys, thank you for having me, and Celeste, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Great. Thank you, Rob, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to share your knowledge on how to become a community expert. That was very informative. So we can open this now for questions, which I do have a few coming in. There's one here from Jeff, and he says, Rob, this is excellent stuff, and thank you for sharing. His question is, how much do you spend on advertising in terms of percent of GCI? Well, likes and clicks are great. How do you measure ROI on your advertising? It's a really good question.
Jeff, that's a really good question, and the truth answer is that I don't know. And the reason that I say I don't know is I've kind of redirected all of my stuff online for about the last 5-6 years. The last time I did any print advertising of any kind, other than sending postcards and calendars and stuff to my past clients, was 2006. Yeah, 2006. I'm continually tweaking this. I don't know what percentage of my ROI is, but you looked at some of the numbers that I'm seeing from Facebook. I'm not spending a lot there. I'm spending a couple of thousand a month on Google ad clicks through Real Pro. As a matter of fact, they manage it all for me, mostly directed towards buyers. What I'm finding, I'm getting more luck on Facebook directing them to sellers. So I didn't actually show you a seller's ad. I should have done that. But I've got some great seller ads in Facebook as well that I promote that direct people to my Real Pro seller stealth site where they'll get an instant home value. And what I do is take them out of that and put them into Top Producer Market Snapshot. But in general, I spend about 10% of my GCI on marketing of some kind.
Great, thanks. There's a few questions coming in regarding video, and this is really pertinent. So basically, have you had any problems with doing videos in community, showcasing people just walking around? Do you need them to sign waivers? Have you had any issue with people having complaints?
That's a very good question. So we ran into an issue here. It was on a local Facebook page for realtors in Portland where somebody had stolen somebody else's photos and put them on there. And the reality is, any of you realtors that are out there listening right now, I can walk on a public sidewalk and take a picture of that house from a public sidewalk, and you have no rights to that. I can do it. And if I'm standing on a public sidewalk and just kind of taking pictures of people walking up and down the sidewalk, I'm allowed to do that, and there are no issues with that. I've never had a problem with it.
That's good to know. It's very helpful. And then Matt is asking, can I create these community pages myself, or do I need to have the Real Pro system build these pages?
No, you can absolutely do them yourself. So Real Pro can show you how to do it, and you just create a new page. You can create hundreds. I think I've got 700 and something pages total. So you can create as many pages as you want if you have a Gold Plus or better website. I have a Platinum website. You do have to at some point say what's the value of your time. So in my case, I do have this high school kid that actually for a while was interning, and then I gave him a free snowboarding pass on Mount Hood, and he's like, dude, I'll do anything for you. So I've used that guy quite a bit, and they're easy to find just from your local high school. Me, this is kind of my hobby. I like having fun with this sort of stuff, so I do a lot of it myself.
Good. Then I have another one from Todd here. He's wondering how difficult it was to create the community pages on your site, plus the polygon maps. How much time, you guess, you put into building that part of your site?
Well, it really depends on how much time you want to spend on building the neighborhoods. For instance, again, in Portland, there's 5 specific areas. Let's say Southwest Portland. I'm going to spend way more time building the Southwest Portland page. Now, what I'm in the process of doing right now is I'm hiring somebody who's a much better writer than I am to write all sorts of stories about different neighborhoods and really build this out more. But as far as building the IDX search pages for specific neighborhoods, that's really easy to do. You just do it within there, and you just drag the mouse literally down this street and up that street and over to this street and around that cul-de-sac and save it. And save the page, and you're done. It's just that simple.
Then we have another question from Chester. I actually love this one. So he says, Rob, Chester here. We're in Suit, Mississippi. Don't talk quite as fast as you in the Pacific Northwest. Will this webinar be available on a link that we can go back to and listen again? I have to mention that that was my request was to get this webinar out the door in 45 minutes, just because we know that agents are really, really busy right now. So just to answer your question, Chester, yes, this will be sent to you in an email on Friday as a recorded webinar. And eventually this presentation will be put into an interactive ebook, hopefully in the next week or two. So we'll send that out in another format for you guys to have.
Well, I know Chester, and hi Chester, good to talk to you. And we were good friends through Star Power. He's an excellent agent back down there. The only problem with Chester is he's a big Auburn fan, and when the Oregon Ducks played Auburn, they kicked our butt, so we don't talk that much anymore. But and I talk fast if I know he's on the call.
I'll have to play operator then. Let's see if we have any more questions coming through. Let's see, you mentioned the Plattman system. Here's another one. How much integration is provided with Facebook and other social media with your system? And that's from Patty.
Can you say that again? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. How much integration is provided with Facebook and other social mediums with your system?
I think that one you could probably answer better than me, right?
Yeah, we don't really provide integration on that, and we do try to give as much education as possible through just videos or little webinars on how to utilize Facebook, just like we did with Rob here, showing you how to use it. Eventually, we'd like to do another webinar going a little bit more in depth on how to utilize Facebook more, just to leverage the tools in your RPS system. So we do try to keep you guys on.
I think one of the problems with that would be that Facebook changes their rules every 10 seconds. It'd be really hard to keep up with it as far as dialing in automated integration.
Yes, that's very true. That's one of the reasons why we stopped offering the service, because they do change the rules constantly. So yeah, it looks like that was it for the questions. Make sure hang on. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. Christina said, how many leads average per month are you getting from organic results from your community pages?
Getting about 130, generally speaking, and we're closing about 10 to 12% of those.
Okay, good.
And by the way, when I say that, some of them take years to close. We just recently closed one for $989,000 that was in there for 4 years. So it does take a while.
That's good to know.
I mean, not always take a while. I don't mean that in a bad way, because really you're just stacking them up and stacking them up and stacking them up. But it does work very, very well, and when they think of you as the expert. I actually got an email yesterday where somebody had looked at that and they'd saved it, and they'd seen the community video, and I since then put them into a top producer market snapshot for that particular neighborhood, and they sent me an email saying, thanks for educating me so much. We're selling our house next June, so June of next year, and we want you to be our realtor to help us sell the house and find another house. And that's money in the bank.
That's wonderful. So I have another one from Todd. He says, Rob, the high school kid you hired, did they specifically do just a video of each neighborhood, or did you tell them where to go and what to collect?
Okay, so I want to elaborate on that. Those videos, the community videos you saw, the main ones, those were actually professionally done. I have a friend of mine who happens to be the video, or was the videographer for the local newspaper, the Oregonian, and his wife is a news anchor. And I have a home in Palm Springs, and I traded them a week in Palm Springs if they'd go out and do those videos for me. And so those are professionally done, and that's actually her voice and him doing the video. The other ones, the small version of the community ones, and a lot of the local videos are the videos of me explaining, how the rules on wood stoves in Oregon, or earthquake codes for hot water tanks and so on. I had them do. And by the way, you can come up with a million things to talk about. So, for instance, one day, as a matter of fact, my wife, I can tell you exactly how this happened. My wife and I were on a plane from Portland to Puerto Vallarta, and I was bored. And I started writing down all the videos that I could do videos of. And first I started with 10, and I came up with 20, and when I hit about 50, I really started breaking it down again. So if you think about it, all of the systems, all of the things that we do, we can explain in a 1-minute video, one at a time. Understanding the disclosure statement, earthquake tie-downs, flood insurance. I mean, there's a million things. And then I thought, okay, what about interviewing people? Well, I should interview my insurance agent. So we went over and interviewed Paul. I mean, he did one video on replacement cost insurance, earthquake insurance, flood insurance, fire insurance, all sorts of different stuff. And then we went to my title company, and I talked to my escrow officer, and I went to my lender on all different types of loans. And one of the best ones I get the best results are, I have a friend of mine that owns a Carrier air conditioning dealership, one of my best friends, and I interviewed him, and he did a video on automated thermostats, the new multiple 16-SEER air conditioning systems, high efficiency furnaces. I mean, just electronic air filters. There's just a million things you can do stuff from. And then I even went to my contractor, and I took a video of him cleaning moss off of a roof, and sealing windows, cleaning granite, all sorts of stuff. So you can come up with a million videos, and guys, people watch this stuff. It really does work.
Yep, I agree. Well, thanks again, Rob. I know we're getting past the time frame, so I just want to wrap this up. But we hope everyone's found this information valuable, and hopefully you can start implementing some of these fantastic tips that Rob shared with us soon. But if you'd like to start a conversation with one of our RPS community expert consultants, you can reach us at 541-743-8510 or the email you can see on the screen. For those of you who sent some questions, we weren't able to fully cover them, we'll make sure to address them in the email we send out. So once again, thank you, Rob, for joining us today and sharing your expertise on this topic.
You're welcome, and thank you to everybody for taking time out of your day to listen.